In the quiet suburb of Aurora, Colorado, a crime so chilling occurred that it shook the entire nation. The perpetrator? A young woman named Isabella Guzman. In the late summer of 2013, a story unfolded that was so shocking, it froze the heart of America. It was a tale that blurred the lines of sanity and evil, a tale of a daughter's unthinkable act against her own mother. As the details of the crime began to surface, a wave of disbelief swept across the country. A young woman, barely out of her teens, had committed an act so heinous that it was almost beyond comprehension. Isabella Guzman, a name that would soon become synonymous with a horrifying crime, was just an ordinary girl living an ordinary life. She was known for her quirky personality, her love for music, her struggles with school. Yet beneath this facade of normality, something sinister was brewing. A darkness that, unbeknownst to those around her, was slowly taking over. When the news of the crime broke, it was met with shock and horror. The media descended on the quiet suburb of Aurora, turning the spotlight on a story that was as gripping as it was terrifying. The nation watched, captivated, as the narrative unfolded, a narrative that was as much about a broken mind as it was about an unthinkable crime. As the story of Isabella Guzman spread, it became a chilling reminder of the unpredictability of human nature, of the darkness that can lurk beneath an ordinary facade. It was a crime that defied logic, that challenged our understanding of what it means to be human. And so we delve into the life and crime of Isabella Guzman, a journey that takes us into the heart of darkness, into the mind of a killer. For beneath the surface of this seemingly ordinary girl, there lay a chilling reality, a reality that would shock a nation and forever change the course of her life. This is the story of Isabella Guzman, a seemingly ordinary girl turned cold-blooded killer. But who was Isabella Guzman before this horrific event? What led her down this dark path? Long before the headlines and the courtroom drama, Isabella Guzman was just a girl growing up in Aurora, Colorado. She was no different from the rest, with dreams, hopes, but also a set of challenges that would eventually steer her life into an unimaginable direction. Isabella's early life was marked by behavioral issues. She was known to have a rebellious streak, a fiery temper, and a knack for challenging authority. These traits, though common among most teenagers, were exacerbated in Isabella's case. They were telltale signs of a deeper problem brewing beneath the surface, a problem that would later be diagnosed as schizophrenia. But what was it that triggered these behavioral issues? What pushed Isabella over the edge? The answer, it seems, lies in her home, the very place where she should have felt the safest. Isabella alleged years of abuse at the hands of her own mother, Hoy. This abuse, she claimed, was the catalyst for her spiraling mental health and subsequent actions. It's important to remember that these are allegations, and we are only scratching the surface of a complex and deeply personal history. We can't fully grasp what went on behind closed doors, but we can piece together a picture of a young woman whose life was fraught with turmoil and pain. Isabella's life was a storm waiting to burst, a ticking time bomb fueled by untreated mental illness and alleged abuse. The combination of these factors created a perfect storm that led to a breaking point, and unfortunately, Hoy found herself in the eye of that storm. And then came that fateful day in August 2013. On August 28, 2013, Isabella Guzman committed a crime that would forever change her life. In the quiet town of Aurora, Colorado, a gruesome act of violence jolted the community to its core. Hoy, a loving mother, was found dead in her home. The perpetrator, her own daughter, Isabella Guzman. Isabella's actions leading up to the murder were chillingly calculated. Earlier that day, Isabella had sent her mother an ominous email with the subject line, "This is the end." A confrontation ensued, escalating into a deadly encounter. Hoy, a woman known for her kindness and compassion, was brutally stabbed and left lifeless in her own bathroom. Isabella, having committed the unthinkable, fled the scene, leaving behind a blood-soaked nightmare. She was on the run, a teenage girl turned fugitive, her face splashed across news channels and social media. Her cold, calculated nature was evident in her actions following the murder. She did not panic, she did not break down. Instead, she calmly left the house and disappeared into the night. The authorities were soon on her trail, tracing her steps and piecing together the horrific puzzle. The search didn't last long. The following day, Isabella was found and arrested at a parking lot, her world of freedom abruptly colliding with the harsh reality of her actions. It was a crime that sent shockwaves across the nation. a daughter murdering her own mother, a story that seemed more like a plot from a horror movie than a real-life event. Isabella's arrest marked the beginning of a trial that would captivate the nation, raising questions about mental health, family dynamics, and the very nature of crime and punishment. Isabella Guzman was soon arrested, and her trial would captivate the nation. Isabella's trial was a media spectacle, with many fascinated by the young woman who had committed such a horrific crime. The courtroom was a whirlwind of emotion, shock, and disbelief as the details of the case unfolded. The brutal reality of what had transpired within the confines of an ordinary suburban home sent shockwaves through the community and beyond. Isabella Guzman, standing trial for the murder of her mother, Yun Mi Hoy, pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity, a plea that, if accepted, would change the course of her life dramatically. With a history of behavioral issues and a diagnosis of schizophrenia, this plea held weight. It was a stark reminder that beneath the gruesome act lay a troubled mind. The court's decision came as a revelation to many. Isabella was ordered to remain at the Colorado Mental Health Institute, a place where she would receive treatment and care rather than a prison sentence. The ruling was met with a mix of relief, confusion, and outrage. Some saw it as a sign of a system prioritizing mental health, while others viewed it as a lenient sentence for a horrific crime. Yet, the trial was just the beginning of a saga that would continue to captivate and horrify the public. Videos of Guzman's court hearing began to make rounds on social media platforms, earning her an unexpected and somewhat unsettling internet fanbase. This unexpected development added another layer of complexity to an already bewildering case. As the years passed, Isabella petitioned for her release, arguing that her schizophrenia was under control and she no longer posed a danger. She even alleged years of abuse at the hands of her mother, a claim that further divided public opinion. In June 2021, she was granted permission to leave the hospital for therapy sessions, a decision that sparked renewed debate about her case. But Isabella Guzman's story doesn't end there. This chilling tale continues to unfold, keeping us on the edge of our seats as we grapple with the questions it raises about mental health, justice, and the very nature of humanity. Today, Isabella Guzman remains at the Colorado Mental Health Institute, but her story has taken some unexpected turns. In a twist that no one saw coming, she became an unlikely figure of fascination on the internet, thanks to a series of viral TikTok videos. These videos, featuring snippets from her court hearing, turned Isabella into an enigmatic figure, earning her an unexpected fan base. But behind the viral sensation, there was a real disturbing story of a young woman grappling with severe mental illness. Isabella, diagnosed with schizophrenia, began to advocate for herself from within the confines of the institute. She petitioned for her release, claiming her condition was under control and she was no longer a danger to society. She insisted that she was a victim too, alleging years of abuse at the hands of her mother, and it seemed, for a moment, that the world was listening. In June of 2021, Isabella was granted permission to leave the hospital for therapy sessions, a small step towards the freedom she sought. But it was not a full release. Isabella still resides within the walls of the Colorado Mental Health Institute, her every move monitored, her every action scrutinized. Isabella's story, from the horrific crime to her life now, continues to stir public fascination. There's something about her tale that captivates and horrifies, that draws people in and refuses to let them go. It's a chilling reminder of the depth of human darkness and of the thin line that separates sanity from madness. Though Isabella Guzman may be out of the public eye, her chilling story continues to captivate and horrify. In the end, the story of Isabella Guzman is a chilling tale of a troubled young woman who committed an unthinkable crime. This grim saga began with a girl spiraling into the abyss of mental illness, culminating in a horrifying act of matricide. The courtroom drama that followed stirred public fascination, with Isabella's plea of insanity and her subsequent confinement in a mental health institute. Today, she remains a figure of intrigue, her story echoing in the dark corners of the internet. The tale of Isabella Guzman serves as a grim reminder of the devastating impact of mental illness and the horrors it can lead to.